right, my friends. This is Josh with Talk About Trek, and we are back for another very exciting Warp Tuesday. It's the one and only day of the week where you and I can sit down together and we can talk about Trek. I know. You can't find that anywhere else but here. It's amazing. It's a wonderful thing to have. And I'm coming in tonight with absolutely no ammunition. I've got nothing. And we're basically going to wing it. And typically, I will tell you a little secret here. I got a couple of monitors. I got one, two, three, but we were messing around. We were doing some stuff with the VR, and I had to unplug some things. So I'm working off of a single monitor, which feels very weird. I'll be honest with you. I'm usually used to feeling like I'm in here launching rocket ships, but no. So because of that, I don't have access to do the typical, hey, let's look at what the news in Star Trek is this week. Which means that you guys get the joy of basically just sitting and listening to me talk for the 15 to 20 minutes that this will go on for. Boy, we do actually have a lot to talk about. And some of these lights are a little obtrusive, aren't they? Like that one? Do you think it's a little obtrusive for the video? I think it might be a little obtrusive. Here, let's go like this. Oh, okay. There, I feel that's a bit more intimate now, right? We're kind of here, not so much background nonsense going on. Just you and I hanging out, talking about Star Trek together, and looking at the stars, right? Oh, actually, wait, hold on. We can fill that space with my favorite Star Trek thing, Star Trek books. So we'll let the books scroll there in the empty space while we talk about Trek. First off, where are we in our Star Trek reading? We're right here, and we are having a fine time. A Singular Destiny. And you might ask, Josh, what brought you to read A Singular Destiny by Mr. Keith R.A. DeCandido? And I will tell you exactly why. If you've been following along here, of course, you know that we just finished up basically the Klingon saga of a lifetime, right? The IKS Gorkon series, and that finished up with the, what do they change it to? The Klingon Empire, right? A series of basically 7 books, I think, in total, that followed the exploits of Captain Clegg of the IKS Gorkon, and I enjoyed it so much. I had such a good time that once I was done, actually, I think it was probably after last Warp Tuesday, because I did the book video the same night. I went ahead and emailed the author. And I was just basically like, hey, just finished up the saga. This was awesome. I had a great time reading it. And I asked a few questions. And to my delight, he responded. And it was just we had a nice little exchange. And he recommended, or he basically kind of told me something I did not know, was that Captain Clegg's exploits are further explored in A Singular Destiny. So we're getting into that, and very glad that he brought that up and that I jumped into it, because I am thoroughly enjoying the story. And again, it goes to illustrate another point about why I love Star Trek, and especially reading Star Trek books, is because you can have all of these different kind of stories that are told within the Star Trek universe, right? So, for instance, the series I was just finishing, that was, let's look at the thing, let's look at this universe from the side of the Klingon Empire, right? And we're getting to see this whole different worldview and everything. And then now this book is a more kind of a diplomatic, just a very much, so you're not on the, basically the chief character, the main character, is not a Starfleet officer. He's a history professor, and just also I'm very much enjoying this character as well too. So this was a great idea to jump into that one, so I really appreciate that suggestion. And of course, this is the follow-up to Star Trek Destiny, and that was a huge trilogy that kind of did a whole bunch of stuff. I won't get into that now, but I almost need to kind of refresh my memory on that too. It's been, gosh, it had to be 3, 4 years since I've read that series, and it was fun. It was fun. There was a lot going on, and I remember, to be honest with you, I don't remember the key point that I liked. I'd have to check my notes, but it was a great kind of combination of so many different captains and ships and things coming together, in the end to save the day from the Borg, right? And this book here is the kind of the follow up. We're putting the pieces of the galaxy back together after this terrible tragedy has occurred, right? And again, it's been a blast. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and hoping that we will be back to talk about that one hopefully by the end of this week, if we stick to our reading, But then again, like I said, like we just hooked up the VR again, that's going to slow things down, right? Anyway, side note on that. I hooked this VR thing up, right? And it's like, your PC isn't strong enough to run this. And I'm like, what? This isn't... Anyway, I thought that was kind of silly. Like, I can play, like, high-end PC games, but I guess that doesn't translate to VR anymore. It's been many years since I hooked this thing up. But, I do have the Bridge Commander game, which I don't think you can even get anymore, right? The Star Trek VR game, and you can have, like... Man, I think you can be on the set, or you can be on, like, the Enterprise D. And, I have to revisit that, right? I have to reinstall and revisit that. And I wonder if there's still, like, servers and groups of people playing it. I think that I saw a streamer that I watch play it not too long ago. So there must still be an active community of people playing it. And, man, that would be fun to get back into. I remember there was a time when I would sit here and be on the Enterprise, right? And it was a good time. So definitely I'm gonna check that out again. And I was surprised to see that I even had a Star Wars, what was it, Rogue Squadron or something. So I don't even remember buying that game. But again, this was a long time ago when we did the VR. So we'll check that out too. See what we can get into. Mainly the kid, my son Abraham, was like, Dad, what about that VR that we have? You got to get that out and get that hooked up. And I'm like, dude, for you, we're going to do it. Man, these lights look really cool with every other light off, don't they? I feel like I need to, there's got to be something different here, though. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, since I've got you all here, check this out. So that's this right here. This is the Borg, right? The Borg Collective, of course. And then this is like Starfleet here. We've got the Lower Deckers, and we've got the Prodigy crew. Down here, we've got our Discovery section. And, I mean, it doesn't need that big of a spot, so we might need to move that. But mainly it's the Saru section, to be honest with you. But here is the Klingon Empire. And we've got a whole bunch of Klingons all crammed into a spot. So I'm thinking maybe we go right over here on this shelf that I'm indicating. See this right here? That was anyway, right there, and then that's where we would go with the Klingon Empire. But I like these little lights. They come with of course, you got a controller, right? Change the colors. I'm not going to mess with the colors, but just makes it easy to turn it off, turn it on. They turn off by themselves, and so on and so forth. You guys want to hear anything more about my lights? No, probably not. What else should we talk about then, right? I'm making slow progress on the collection and the room, right? And it seems like that's kind of how it always goes too. I feel like I'll make like a step forward, and then life gets in the way. You get stuck doing other things, and then there you are, and you get kind of behind again, right? For instance, I have. About a month ago, I was able to finally reorganize and dust and clean the card section. We got that done. Boom. And then things kind of sat for a little bit. And then I was able to get all of the guys over here standing up nicely, right? And then that left me with a big box of ships. Now I've got to figure out where all these ships go. So it's one of those things where it's like, it'll never really be done. And I think that's fine, because it's just fun to be able to work on it, and just to be able to kind of continue forward. make those little kind of steps here and there, right? And I guess if it were done, it would be kind of sad, right? It's like, oh, it's finally done. Now what? You know? So it's good that there'll always be more. There'll always be something to do to make the space, you know, that much better. So, okay. What else? What else? What else? Ooh, you know what? I I do want to make a video, and I think we're going to save this for Star Trek 60, right? You know, here's the idea. Here's the idea, right? I'm just going to lay it on you. So the idea basically would be a kind of a video essay, right? And directing it to, and the idea was basically this. Like, if my son came up to me and he's like, Dad, what is Star Trek? And why do you like it so much? And then the video would be my answer to that question, you know? And I thought that would be pretty interesting. Did I get off to the Keith R.A.D. Candido thing already? Oh, man, I did. Anyway, did I tell you guys I was emailing with the author earlier? Anyway, he did... It's the weirdest sound. Anyway, he did bring up that he would be open to doing a possible interview. And initially, that kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, I'm not a professional person to do an interview with a professional author person. But then I also got to thinking, you know, if I could sit down, I could write out some questions, and I've made like 500 videos. So that gives me at least a little bit of, if not professionalism, it gives me some bit of, I don't know. I know what I'm doing talking to a camera about Star Trek. And I think that would translate well into asking questions of an author who wrote Star Trek books that I thoroughly enjoyed, right? Especially if I went in prepared, which is not my strong suit, I will admit it. But if I need to, I can buckle down and I can get it done and I can prepare, you know? So, man, that would be fun. And I have read a lot of his books. I've read a lot of the SCE. And he's done a lot of short stories, too. And I'm sure that I've read a lot of those as well. So I think what I want to do is kind of, after I read this, do like a kind of a roundup and kind of see what have I read, what haven't I read. Is there something else I should read before I ask if he would really be willing to do this kind of interview thing with me, right? That would be awesome. So... anyway, yeah, that's the plan there. We are eagerly awaiting and saving and putting back money for Star Trek Magic the Gathering cards releasing in November. Currently it is August the 18th, so that gives us, we have 3 more months of scrimping and saving so that when all these cards come in, you know, I don't feel like a terrible person for doing this. But I am thoroughly excited. I mean, I love playing Magic. My best friend and I basically, like, that's all, like, for a certain 2 to 3 year period, we would get together every week and we would play Magic. We would build decks, we would draft, and it was awesome. And this is going to be, it's just going to be taking something that I love, Star Trek, right? And then combining it with something else that I love, Magic, something I haven't been able to do recently, and it's going to give me that ability to do that, play that with my friend, play that hopefully with my children if I can get them to get into it. I really want them to, and also give me something more to talk about here on the channel. Now, I know a lot of people might not be like into that, right? They're like, oh, I don't like Magic cards, I don't want to hear about that, but you know, it's going to happen because I freaking love Magic cards. I'm very excited too, just because one way to look at the set is basically, here, look, you have, I don't know how many cards, let's just say 400. Here's 400 new pieces of Star Trek art. And then with this Star Trek art, you've got this text, and you've got this flavor, and you've got this, and then how's this going to fit into that deck? And can you make a Riker deck that's going to be strong? Are you going to, like, oh my God, I can't even. I'm just too excited. Honestly, I'm just too excited. So it's going to be a thing, and I'm really looking forward to, again, playing with my friend, and then hopefully also playing with people at Starfleet headquarters, because that would be fantastic. So yeah, that's the things we're looking forward to. On a final note, let's touch on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, right? We are coming up to episode 5, and it has very, very much been a bottle episode season, right? So episode 1, we've got dinosaurs. Episode 2, that was the Event Horizon zombie episode. Episode 3 was your Dude, Where's My Car? We lost a shuttlecraft episode. The Hangover episode. Episode 4, that was our black and white noir episode. Next week, episode 5 is puppets. Yes, some of the crew, and from what I saw, a lot of the crew, except for Spock, gets turned into puppets, and then the ship is invaded by Orion pirates. So this is going to be interesting. Here's a couple things I am looking forward to. I want to see a reference to Tendies from Lower Decks, Orion pirate family. And also, I just want to know how they're going to do this. How on earth are they going to make this work? All right, it's going to be very strange. And then my last thought is this the last of these kind of episodes where I think it's said that next season is a short season, right? 5 episodes. So basically, after the puppet episode, you got 10 episodes left of Strange New Worlds before it's over forever, right? So is the plan to take those 10 episodes and make those into like a cohesive ride that takes it out to a finish? Or will it be more of the same? Let's do the what else could they possibly do? Let me see what are the different tropes they could do. They could do I can't think of any other ones right now. But I'm trying to think of all the classic kind of TV tropes that people do. And I'm at a loss. Maybe they are too, and maybe they're actually going to go ahead and just kind of go forward with the season, exploring Strange New Worlds and all that good stuff. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm always looking forward to new Star Trek. I'm surprised that Star Trek 60 is almost come and gone without any kind of announcement of anything new. But I do feel that something is on the horizon. I don't know. I just got that feeling, right? Something's happening, and it's going to be exciting. It's always exciting here in the world of Talk About Trek, I'll tell you that. And anyway, Warp Tuesday is always a good time to sit down and hang out and have some fun. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. And as always, my friends, live long and prosper. We'll see you all in the next one. Have a great night.
Welcome